Hello and welcome to Maruti Suzuki presents ESPNcricinfo Matchday. I'm Sanjeev Mukherjee. Yes, so we are building up to the big one, the first one-day international between India and Australia in the first of their 5 ODI series, which is going to be played in a short while from now at the Uppal Stadium in Hyderabad. And of course, he is in the house. Ajit Agarkar is in the house. Ajit, welcome back.
Thank you, Sanjeev.
I'll also be joined by Sean Tate from Australia. But the news from the centre is that India have lost the toss. In fact, Australia have won the toss and have elected to bat first. Ajit, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, he said at the toss it seems a little bit dry, seems a hot day in Hyderabad. I think the weather's about to change. So I think India won't be too disappointed with him because under lights sometimes it starts playing a little bit better the pitch unless it really cracks up, which Aaron Finch would be hoping. Runs on the board can be handy, but India has good chasing. So I think both captains in a sense would be happy if the wicket does really slow down as the game progresses. Then that might work for Australia. Otherwise, it could well play into India's hands.
And how much of a positive do you think factor would be the fact that Australia wrapped up the T20 series 2-0 against India? Would that be playing on their minds too?
I think there was a couple of individuals sort of brilliant performances. Maxwell played one of the top innings that you'd see in a T20 game. I don't think India would be too worried. They are a formidable one-day outfit and right now experimenting with a few spots. Hardik Pandya misses out as well. So that they'll have to, if he doesn't get fit by the time the World Cup comes, that's a spot that India will have to see who's their next best in that number 7 or 8. So a couple of things for India to work on, but they're a very, very strong one-day unit.
Right. All right. Remember, we have given these guys exactly 3 minutes. We have a 3-minute countdown clock in which they have to answer the particular specific questions which we have in mind and the talking points which we have decided for the show tonight. Let's start off right away with the Australia playing 11 Finch. In his 100th ODI, winning the toss and electing to bat first. Finch will be possibly joined by Khwaja there at the top. Peter Handscomb comes in there, but possibly in the middle order. Alex Carey is back there in the squad as a wicket keeper. Jai Richardson is not there. Ajit, your thoughts on the Aussie 11?
Yeah, pretty straightforward. I think Mitchell Starc's the only one who's possibly missing from that. Alex Carey opened against India in Australia, so he might well open the innings. I think the batting's, I guess he's batting at number 7 in this game. So there's lots of experience there with Khwaja, Finch himself. Maxwell's in really good form. But their batting has been a bit suspect when they've played India in recent times. So looks good on paper. I think against India in recent times they've struggled a little bit. That T20 or those couple of wins would have given them confidence. So they'd be hoping for a good batting performance because if they can get runs on the board, then their bowlers will have something to bowl at.
Right, and the fact that Darcy Short proved to be pretty good as far as the T20 internationals are concerned. He's been sent back. Usman Khwaja brings stability to the top order. He's there. So do you think Marcus Stoinis, the experiment which we saw in the T20 international, he will certainly not be opening them?
No, I think, in my opinion, he's better off batting in that middle order. He did well when they toured India a couple of years back in the one-day series. Looked a much improved player. And play spin well, which you need to do in these conditions. So they'd be that. Those are the things that I think most teams will be looking at from here on till the World Cup. Whether they just finalize some spots which are up for debate.
Absolutely, they are yet to knock down their final 15 for the World Cup, and that's exactly what both teams are looking at this particular series. It's time now to look at the India playing 11 for this particular game, and you will now have it on your screens. There we are. All right, so Kuldeep Yadav, Mohammad Shami back in the team. So is Ravindra Jadeja, which means there's no place for Yuzvendra Chahal. Kedar Jadhav is there, Ambati Raidu is there. So much talk about KL Rahul making the cut, but Ajit, what do you make of this?
Picks itself really. Chahal is the only guy who's missing, which Virat said they are going to rotate the 2 wrist spinners, which is fine. I think Hardik Pandya's injury has given him a little bit of we're not worried yet because there's still plenty of time to go for the World Cup. But I like those 6 bowling options. I think Kedar Jadhav keeps surprising us with how well he does with the ball, and he's your 6th option, which is handy because with the way the rules are and the field restrictions, you might require that 6 bowler more often than not. Vijay Shankar again, Ravindra Jadeja and Vijay Shankar possibly fighting for that all-rounder spot at the moment if Hardik Pandya doesn't regain his fitness in time for the World Cup. Bumrah's back, which is a real positive, and so is Mohammad Shami after a well-deserved rest. Has been in great form.
Ajit, would you have taken the punt with Rishabh Pant?
I don't think there's place in that lineup. I think number 3 Raidu did really well in New Zealand in the opportunities that he got. So did Kedar Jadhav. And the top 3 picked themselves with MS Dhoni, the 4th guy. So I'm sure as the series goes on, he'll get an opportunity somewhere. And I hope he does, because if he is going to be your second wicket keeper, he needs a little bit of experience in match situations. We've seen what he's done in Test cricket, but I don't think he's played enough in one-day cricket. So to start off, I think that's the batting lineup which kind of picks itself. I'm sure, like he said, there are certain things that they need to sort out. Not a lot with that Indian lineup, but as the tournament or the series progresses, he'll get a few goals.
Right, so 2 seamers, 2 spin bowlers, of course, 1 bowling all-rounder, as well as Kedar Jadhav. That's the sort of look which we have for this particular team. And as they said, possibly the time for experimentation is over. It's now time to make sure that we win the series, and that's the thought which Team India has gone into this particular selection. Quickly, let's take a look at how this venue has played up in the recent past. Now, teams batting first have won 3 of the last 5 games. And the average score batting first is 286. Certainly something which played on Aaron Finch's mind. Pacers and spinners, well, not much to separate them at this particular venue. So that's what will be possibly making up the numbers when we look at this match more closely. Now, we're looking at the other important point, Ajit, and the fact is that the India's number 4, India's batting number 4, the Indian batting mainstay across formats has been Virat Kohli. But yesterday, the press conference, Kohli himself mentioned that if needed, I'm ready to bat at number 4. Let's now listen into Virat first, and then we come back and join the discussion.
If that's the requirement of the team at a particular stage in the game or before a particular game, I'm more than happy to do it. I batted a lot of times at number 4, and so I don't necessarily need to try it out because I've done that a lot in the past, and my game doesn't change much from number 3 to 4 because template is quite similar, and in any given situation I back myself to play the game that I know. So yeah, if the team wants it at any stage, I'm more than happy to do it.
And look at him, how he's himself fed. He's primarily played in number 3 and he averages a staggering 62.98, while at number 4 he hasn't done that badly either. But it's just that the sheer number of games which Virat has played at number 3, which makes him possibly a better choice at number 3 rather than number 4. But on which side of the fence would you stand on this one, Ajit? Would you change things, or rather than keep him the way it is because it's working well, or would you give him make him come to bat at 4, which possibly means that he has a bigger chance of staying on till the end?
No, not at all. I mean, those numbers tell you the story. 3200s at number 3, and yeah, the numbers still are good at when he's batted at 4, but not at all. I mean, why would you put your best batsman lower down the order when he's most of his career, the greatness that he's achieved at number 3, and just sets up the game or finishes the game for India at that number. So no, I mean, he's right in saying that I don't mind doing it, but I think it'll be a silly thing for India to push Virat Kohli down the order. Not at all. I mean, not for batting KL Rahul at number 3. Not at all. I mean, almost 8,500 runs at 62 at number 3. Your best player in that lineup. The top 3 are the reason that India has done so well in one-day cricket. I think the middle order, there are a few worries. Whether if there are a few early wickets, whether that middle order then can chase a biggish total. But more often than not, the top 3 get the job done for India. So no, I think I hope nobody's entertaining the thought of batting Virat Kohli at number 4, because he is the best batsman in the world, and that's his position where he wins India games at number 3 a lot more often.
Right, and while we are looking at this match, well, let's also look at the other contenders, the people in fact who have primarily played at the number 4 position for India in the recent past. Now, this is since the Champions Trophy 2017. Ambati Raidu right there at the top, he's got the maximum number of hits, 11 games, average of shade over 50. Dinesh Karthik doing not too badly, 9 games, shade over 52. Ajinkya Rahane, just 5 games. Mahendra Singh Dhoni too has been tried out at number 4. So has been KL Rahul with varying amounts of success. How do you look at this if in case Kohli does get to bat at number 4, does decide to bat at number 4 after consultation with the team management, do you think it sort of changes his ability to control the innings the way he has been doing it at number 3, or it doesn't? It's imperceptible.
The fact is, he comes down at 2 down instead of 1 down. You know, there's already a little bit of pressure if you're too. Well, look, his numbers are still great at number when he's batted 4, like we said before. But that doesn't change the fact that if he does bat at number, your best batsman should bat the maximum number of balls, whether it's in T20 cricket or one-day cricket, and he's certainly India's premier batsman. So why push him down the order? And maybe there's a situation where he bats or gets to bat a lot less than what he is at the moment. I'm not sure why that thought has entered in their mind when he's winning games at number 3. It shouldn't be at the cost of what's working for the team, which at the moment is. There are a few names. I think Ambati Rayudu at the moment is a front runner in those, because I think Virat Kohli said after Australia that although MS Dhoni has batted number 4, he thinks he's more suited at number 5. So Ambati Rayudu at the moment looks
best suited.
Yeah, I mean, the worry, my opinion, is just if there's a biggish total to chase, is that 4, 5, 6 at the moment enough? Whether they are settled enough. I think that's why Hardik Pandya then becomes a really key figure, because not only does he gives you that sort of explosion towards the end of the innings, but can also score big, which then helps with the strike rate of the rest of the guys. So yeah, hopefully these questions are answered in this series, but at the moment Rayudu looks the front runner.
Rayudu looks the front runner, and since he's playing it, possibly that he will bat at 4 and Kohli at 3. But before we move on to our next important talking point, remember you can join in this conversation on social media, on Facebook Live, on YouTube. And there's a very interesting question which has come for you, Ajit. You're being asked that why is KL Rahul not in the playing 11?
Well, I don't think he can play ahead of Rohit Sharma, Shikhar Dhawan and Virat Kohli in the top 3. I mean, in my opinion, he if he does play, he will play as an opener. I don't think he's convinced anyone batting down the order whether he's the same player that he is when he opens the innings. He's shown some good form in the T20, which is a good sign, and he only played because they rested either Rohit or Shikhar in those games. So. Yeah, that's my opinion as well. I mean, if he has to play, he has to play as an opener. I'm not sure he's your number 4 guy. I think that was experimented, and then they went back to saying he's an opener. So, not to start the series if both your openers are playing, Shikhar and Rohit. I don't think he can play ahead of them.
Right. I'm told we are joined back finally by Sean Tate from Australia. Sean, welcome back. Your initial thoughts on the Aussie team selection today for the game today?
Mate, to be honest, because it's been cutting out so much, I haven't had a great chance to have a look at it. But looking now, it looks pretty interesting. I mean, Ashton Turner getting himself a game, and I didn't have Behrendorff in my side, but it's a good option, Behrendorff, going across the right-handers, Kohli and these guys. So it looks a pretty strong side. Glenn Maxwell, hopefully at number 4, he's in pretty good form. So all in all, you need some runs from the top. You need Aaron Finch to get back in form, but it looks a pretty good side, yeah.
That's right. And Sean, we're just discussing with Ajit here in the studio about the fact that whether or not India, Virat Kohli rather, should bat at number 4 or not. Similar questions as far as the Australian batting order is concerned with regards to Glenn Maxwell. The Big Show himself, he said at the press conference that he has the desire to bat higher up the order, not at the customary number 7, which he's been doing for Australia in one-day cricket of late. The coach Justin Langer, however, has played it down. Where do you stand on this one?
Look, we haven't been the best one-day side of recent times. So because of that, I think you can move a guy like Maxwell to number 4. Obviously, if the team is going really well and we're winning games and winning series, then it's hard to move a guy like that. You can keep Maxwell down at 7, but I think at the moment you've got to pick the side on form. And I know it's 2020 cricket, but going on form right now, I'd be certainly batting Maxwell at number 4.
Well, Sean Tate says he'll be batting Glenn Maxwell number 4. What does the skipper have to say? This is what Aaron Finch told the media at the press conference on Maxwell's batting position.
Yeah, Glenn will get an opportunity a bit higher than he did in the series against India in Australia when he batted number 7. He'll bat a bit higher than that in this series, no doubt. He's been in some great form. His one-day cricket's been really good as well. So I'm not exactly sure where just yet, but it'll be higher than 7, I'd imagine.
Right, so that's sort of sorted it out as far as this particular debate is concerned. But let's quickly also take a look at how Maxwell actually has fared with regard to various batting positions since 2017 January at number 4. He doesn't really average well because he's just got 2 hits. At 5, he's been tried at 6, and he's also been tried at number 7, where he averages the best as far as his recent showing is concerned. The question to you here is that there's no doubting, Sean, Glenn Maxwell's immense talent and his power hitting capacity. But the fact is that if you look specifically at his last 20-25 innings, he's just got 350s in one-day cricket. So there seems to be a cause for concern for the team management there.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose there's absolutely right. There's nothing in concrete. I mean, Glenn Maxwell, I think 2016 he won the one-day player of the year for Australia. So he certainly can do it. There's no doubt about that. We all know he's a good player and he can. It's just always been about finding consistency with Maxi. And I just think if you're going to go on form, if you're going to take the game on, if you're going to take on India and try and beat India in India, someone like Maxwell is an X factor. So why not get him? You know, like I heard what Ajit was saying about Kohli facing more deliveries, batting higher up the order. So the way Maxwell's batting at the moment, why not get him up around number 4 somewhere and get him facing more deliveries? You know, sure he can get out in the first couple of overs, but so can a lot of other guys. And he is really good down at number 7 and finishing off games. But if you don't get a big enough score to start off with, it's going to be very tough to beat India. So I just think get him in there and get a big total with Maxwell, hopefully batting 4.
Right.
I mean, that's the thing. It's okay. Australia. I mean, like Sean said, Australia haven't been great with the bat in one-day cricket. So you'd rather have form players playing more of the overs. And yeah, Maxwell can frustrate you. I think everyone can see his talent, the ability that he has. He showed the other day, be it in T20 cricket, and he can come and hit the first ball in the air. But at the moment, he looks in really good form. Just was a really sensible innings in that T20 game. And play spin well, so why not? When he's in good form, you'd rather put him up.
You'd rather put him up and get him to unleash the sort of batting which we have seen in the T20 series, in which he literally single-handedly made sure that Australia won that particular game. Let's not move on to our next talking point, and that's the backup pacers for both teams who are under the scanner. There are a couple of slots still to be fixed as far as the World Cup is concerned. Let's first look at India. Who are the options who have made the cut and who are possibly going to do that? Umesh Yadav, Khalil Ahmed and Siddharth Kaul, the 3 contenders, Ajit, as we can see, because Bumrah, Bhuvi and Shami have certainly made it for the World Cup team. Among these 3, who do you think is in contention or who's ahead to be the 4th seamer?
Not sure actually at the moment. It's I think Vijay Shankar is the one they are hoping that if Hardik Pandya, I mean India would be, well, I'm sure Virat Kohli would really want Hardik Pandya in that team. Just gives you that balance and is a proper all-rounder. Vijay Shankar, I'm not quite certain with his bowling, whether he can play as your 3rd seamer. Not from the limited ability that he's shown in recent times that he played in New Zealand. So that's a tricky one. I mean, Khalil Ahmed's been a little bit good and okay-ish in the time that he's played, but as a left-armer gives you that option.
Yeah.
He's looked good in certain games and still very young, very inexperienced. So hopefully we find out a bit more as the series goes along. Umesh Yadav is another option. I mean, people will say, you know, Australia won.
He's blown his case with the one.
But that's T20 cricket, and a couple of really good shots played against him. Till then, I mean, Australia were chasing only 126 at that point. So to blame somebody for bowling that's the tough job that a Bumrah or someone who's a frontline seamer does. He bowls in difficult situations, whether it's at the start of the innings or at the end of the innings. So there are going to be some games. The one thing you would know about Umesh Yadav, he's got the experience of having played before. So there's always a case for going back if the others don't work. But I think other guys would. I think Hardik Pandya should, in all likelihood, be fit by the time World Cup comes around. So you're only looking at one more spot out of those 3.
Right.
And Khalil Ahmed, sort of with the left arm, gives you that variation.
Right. We sort of got a fair idea about what India would be looking at to get as far as the 4th bowling, seam bowling option would be concerned. But what about Australia? Have they actually knocked down all the spots as far as their pacers are concerned? Now, these are 3 or 4 guys who are in contention. Jai Richardson, Kane Richardson, although he's out with a side strain. Nathan Coulter-Nile, who's doing very, very well. And Jason Behrendorff, who's proved pretty handy against the Indians. Sean, what's your take on this? Australia they have Hazelwood, they have Stark, they have Cummins, who've sort of certainties for the World Cup. Now, among these four, who do you think is the one pick you'll pick for the World Cup?
Yeah, that's a tough one again. You know, like Ajit, I'm a little bit torn. You've got some pretty good options there. It's very tough, and all the statistics are pretty similar. I think at the moment the flavour of the month in Australian cricket is Jai Richardson over here. They were really happy the way he played he bowled in the Test matches against Sri Lanka. So I think they're pretty happy the way he goes about it. He can certainly swing the ball. So in England, as far as you're talking World Cups go, he might be a really good option. Kane Richardson doesn't swing the ball as much, but he's still a pretty experienced one day bowler. Behrendorff obviously offers a different, a left arm option, which we spoke about just before as well, and Ajit did. But and obviously Coulter can bat and field pretty well, and he's also done a good job. So at the moment, I think they would be looking to Jai Richardson and maybe a Coulter, just pipping the other guys. So, but yeah, tough one.
Absolutely, and Coulter's clean hitting ability lower down the order, perhaps bringing him a little forward in contention among the other three right there on the graphic card which we just showed. All right, it's now time for your, mine, and of course Ajit and Sean's favorite part of the show. It's here. We fantasize. We actually don't fantasize. This is called the Fab 4 Fantasy Games, in which these two gentlemen will be picking their 4 star players who are going to shine in this game today. But before that, let's quickly have a look at the scoring system as to how exactly each selection will do. Each run by a player who's picked by these two guys gets 1 point. 50 and 100 runs gets you 10 and 20 bonus points respectively. Each wicket taken by the player selected gets 20 points. A 3-wicket haul and a 5-wicket haul gets you 10 and 20. The bowler with the best economy also gets certain points. Each catch, direct hit, run out gets 10 points, and the joint effort catch or run out gets 5 points. An expert with the most points at the end of the day is the winner, which means that it's not only just India and Australia at the Upal Stadium in Hyderabad, but also Ajit Agarkar versus Sean Tate here. Ajit, let's go first. Your Fab 4.
Oh wow, it's a bit difficult in one-day cricket. I think you've got to go Bumrah, isn't it? I mean, tough to look past Bumrah every time he gets the ball in his hand. Go Kuldeep Yadav.
Okay.
Got to get some batsmen in, isn't it? I think.
You want to even it out? You want to basically even it out?
No, Virat Kohli, and I'm going to go Maxwell. I think,
you're going to go Maxwell.
Just purely because of his form.
Purely because of his form. But good selection there. It seems pretty impressive. What about you, Sean? Who's your Fab 4?
This is a tough one. Pat Cummins. I'm going to go with Pat Cummins.
Okay.
Darcy Short.
Sean, unfortunately, Darcy Short has flown back home, so you cannot select him. You cannot select him.
Darcy Short.
He's not in the team.
Okay, right. So Finch. I'll go Aaron Finch. So Kawaja's opened the batting. So Aaron Finch. He needs to come back in form. Adam Zampa.
You sure about Aaron Finch? Because of the last 10 games, Sean, he averages just about 22. And in 8 of those 10 hits, he hasn't got past 25. Are you sure about Aaron Finch? I'm going to give you another chance.
I'm sure about Aaron Finch. He needs to score some runs. I need to have a bit of fun with this.
All right.
And then, I'm going to go Adam Zampa.
Okay.
Is he in the team? Am I picking the right players who are in the team?
Yes.
And I'm going to go Rohit Sharma.
Rohit Sharma. All right. As they say, the king of white ball cricket, Rohit Sharma. So, Ajit Agarkar has selected Jasprit Bumrah, Kuldeep Yadav, Virat Kohli and Glenn Maxwell, while Sean Tate, after a little bit of discussion and debate, Pat Cummins, Aaron Finch, Adam Zampa and Rohit Sharma. All right, so before we wrap this one up, Ajit, your predictions, what sort of score are we looking at?
I mean, obviously we'll see what the conditions are like. Everyone keeps, whoever's spoken on TV has said it's quite dry. So if it is, and if it does stay that way, then Australia getting anything, I mean anything over 270 might turn out to be a formidable score. But I can't look past India at this point. I mean, they're a better team than Australia in these conditions as well. So you would have to back India. I don't think though India would be wanting to chase 300 if it is a dry pitch.
Sean, what about you? The average first inning score here is 286. What do you reckon the Aussies would be targeting today?
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to go close to winning this match, they're going to have to get at least that, I think. Somewhere that, the 280, 290. But look, I'm going to find it hard to go against India. I think they're going to be favourites here. Yep.
All right. So as far as our two experts, Ajit Agarkar and Sean Tate, are concerned, they both have tilted the scales in favor of India. However, it's yet to begin. 50 overs each for both sides, India versus Australia. That does it here on the show. Ajit Agarkar, thank you very much. Sean Tate, thank you very, very much. And remember, folks, you can join us and send us your comments and your questions here on ESPNcricinfo.com, on our Facebook page, and watch our videos on our YouTube channel. That does it here. Keep your questions, suggestions, and comments coming. You were watching Maruti Suzuki presents ESPN Cricinfo Matchday. Remember, we'll be back at the innings break. Thanks for watching.